African Safari Travel Tips to Truly Enjoy Nature. If you are considering an adventure trip, the African safari tips revealed here will make your excursion more enjoyable. A safari on one of the most exciting continents in the world starts in Africa. Maybe you've heard of all the interesting stories from colleagues at work, or you've always dreamed of it as a child while watching movies. Whatever your reason may be, we can assure you that this is the right decision, and if you do this correctly, it can be a story to tell for ages. The best part might be the close interaction with the animals and the appreciation of the beauty of life that lies in front of you. Either tears will fall or you won't be able to help the goofy smile and excitement for the next couple of days. Now, as always, as much as a trip can go incredibly well, it can also go wrong. Can you imagine a lion with its cubs chasing you across the park just for the fun of it? Okay, we're exaggerating. Anyway, let us help you through this amazing adventure you have decided to embark on. We have compiled a list of essential travel tips for your safari adventure, and we promise it'll be a worthwhile, helpful, and interesting read. Read further to know what's up. Find out the best time to go for a safari. This usually depends on what you want to see. Traditionally, the dry season is deemed the best time to go for a safari, and as expected this falls at different times depending on the country. The reason behind this is visibility. Taking the rainy season as a case study, this development is good for the plant but not exactly for you. With plants shooting up and bushes getting thick, it'll be a pain trying to see anything, especially as the animals tend to hide amongst the greenery. Although, we are not saying you cannot go at other times too, as they also have their advantages. These being the avoidance of large numbers of tourists and the significant reduction in prices. You don't need to change your wardrobe. As a cliché, you tend to see a lot of tourists with brand new safari clothes just for their trips. Now, this is fine if you can afford it, but not usually if you're running on a tight budget. We're here to tell you that a good pair of eyes, patience, and tolerance is a lot more important than the clothes you wear. You can probably get a good and usable outfit from your wardrobe that still works perfectly fine as any new safari outfit. Of course, you must take something cool to cover up with, like a long-sleeved shirt. You can combine that with a pair of lightweight comfy trousers or shorts, and lastly, a hat to protect you against the sun. Try to stay away from loud and bright colors to avoid startling the animals. Carefully consider your camera equipment. We usually consider ourselves to be considerably good photographers, which may be true. However, taking pictures during your African safari proves a whole different ball game. While you can get awesome shots while wildlife is relatively close, entry-level zoom lenses wouldn't cut it for animals more than 25 meters away. Hence, you would need to go a lot bigger, and we're talking lenses with a focal length of up to 600 mm and at least 200 mm. But then again, your budget might not allow for this, so you may need to focus on taking in the sights and experiences rather than taking blurry pictures. Binoculars are not necessary. We don't doubt that you would be questioning whether you need a pair of binoculars. Well, we wouldn't lie to you, they do come in handy. But on the other hand, one look at the price and even we took a double take. You begin to wonder if you can't do without it, and we're here to tell you, it's not that necessary. Truly, there would be some moments that come as a great addition, like when the animals are so far away, but if you have a decent zoom lens on your camera, you will survive well. On the other hand, if you're crazy about wildlife and you only own a simple point-and-shoot camera, binoculars might prove a worthy investment. You're going to be waking up early. As a generally known fact, animals tend to be active in the morning and evening. Going out at midday would prove futile as the sun would be too much for the animals, not allowing them to do much other than rest in the shade. This is the reason behind breaking the trip into 2 safari days. So, there is an early morning ride before the sun rises and another usually beginning at about 4:30 p.m. Knowing this fact, you must embrace the idea of getting up early. Lastly, don't forget your sunscreen and water for when it heats up later in the morning. Patience is key. Your safari trip might strike you like you were thrown into the Lion King movie, which is quite a common reaction. However, during your visit, you'll find out very quickly that the animals do their thing and may not come out in plain view for a long while. The jeeps are only allowed in a specific area of the park and restricted to specific routes that they must follow. So, if no animals are spotted, they cannot just decide to go in search of one. As expected, this could mean long hours of waiting without seeing anything interesting, but we would advise you to be patient as they surely will come out eventually. You just need to give them some time. Also, you may realize that others on another trip may have seen something that you did not get to see. Do not get discouraged or sad as no 2 trips are the same. You probably also saw something they did not get to see. Ask all your questions. You should take advantage of your tour guide as they're not just there to drive you around. They are a wealth of information and they'll be more than happy to answer your questions. At least you paid for it. Aside from that, a lot of them have spent a long time growing up in these regions and most of their crafts are directed at specialist courses and intensive training. Also, if they don't know it, you probably don't need it. You could also ask about their own experiences in the park and their insights. These questions and answers bring a lot more insight and a different perspective on your trip and help you enjoy it a lot better. They also tend to have superior spotting skills. Lastly, you can ask for when there would be bathroom and snack breaks so you're always comfortable during the trip. You should be considerate of the animals. Well, if you care for your safety and feel like getting back home with all your limbs, you may want to listen. You would have to accept the fact that you are a visitor in the animals' land. So, as much as possible, try not to encroach on their personal space, agitate them, or worst still, litter. You are perfectly safe as long as you act accordingly and listen to the tour guide and trust his instincts and discretion. For example, aggravating a male elephant is a pretty bad idea. Lastly, if you feel uncomfortable about the crowding of the animals, make sure you raise your concerns. Safari Adventure Conclusion. That was a ride and we hope it was as informative and interesting as we promised. Again, we cannot be more excited about your amazing step and adventure, but we do have to reiterate some things. As much as the excitement can be overwhelming, we cannot forget to research and carry all our essentials. How would you like, after all the excitement, to be left disappointed because of one slight detail? It kind of feels like you were left at the altar, disappointing and sad from all angles. So, do your homework and check every box on your list. Also, as implied above, you do not need to break the bank to have a fun and interesting safari. We promise that even with a tight budget, you can have as much as any other person on the trip with you. All you need are the basic steps or measures we have laid down for you. With this, we have come to the end of this little ride with you. We hope you enjoy your trip as much as we loved right now.